What's going on, everyone? So, the most hyped prospect since LeBron James had his debut in Las Vegas Summer League, taking on the Charlotte Hornets, and he struggled. He definitely did show some quality flashes. He showed the ability that and just the smoothness that he has for a guy his size, 7'4", his ability to dribble, create shots off the dribble, pass and make plays for others, use his length and his size. But he was rather underwhelming on the offensive end, right? He was 2 of 13 from the field. He had 9 points, 8 rebounds, 5 blocks. And many people are criticizing Victor Wembanyama for his performance in day one of Summer League. Now, I don't really think you could take much from him in this one game, right? One, it's Summer League. He didn't play the full game. He, for a lot of part, was just, if you actually watched the game, was just kind of standing around out on the perimeter most of the game. He wasn't really posting up, going inside heavily. A lot of it was just jump shots or three-point shots. So I don't know how much you could take away from his offensive game because he wasn't really put in a position to be sort of effective offensively with his height, his size, and his intangibles, right? His ability offensively. And that is by design, right? The Spurs don't want him to get hurt. Scoot Henderson got hurt. Amin Thompson got hurt, right? Like the last thing the San Antonio Spurs want is Victor Wembanyama to end up getting hurt. And so as we get through this summer league, Victor Wembanyama, I don't think is going to be a guy that's going to play, the full 40 minutes or whatever it is and be a guy that they're just going to rely heavily on because they don't care, right? Like they don't if they win Summer League, cool, but that's not the goal. The goal is to take Victor Wembanyama, turn him into the best player in the league and potentially build a championship contender in the next few years. And you're going to need Victor Wembanyama to do that. He showed a lot of the flashes that make him so hyped, make him so excited. Like I said, his passing ability is just ridiculous for a guy 7'4", and his ability to make plays for others. That's going to be so valuable over the course of his career. A guy that you could just dump the ball down to and let him go to work, let him decide and make decisions throughout the course of a game. His defensive intangibles is ridiculous. We saw him guarding Brandon Miller out on the perimeter effectively, switching on to guards and guarding them effectively. He was blocking shots at the three-point line. That is in and of itself extremely impressive. His offensive game will come, right? And I don't believe you can take this one game and go, yeah, he's either really good or really bad. He showed a lot of why he is so hyped and why the San Antonio Spurs and the league and everybody is just so high on Victor Wembanyama. But his offensive struggles were there. Here's the thing, though, too, is that once he gets to the NBA level, the floor spacing and just the type of game that will be played, especially in Popovich's system, I do believe he's going to be effective on the offensive end. The pace, right? Like, he's got to get used to the pace. The NBA is just a different animal, a different beast. So it's going to take him a little while to kind of get into the flow of things. Like LeBron James, for example, right? Many people think Victor Wembanyama has the potential to be better than LeBron James, and he very well might. But LeBron James came into the NBA with a grown man's body. I mean, he had the body of most veterans in the league. And so he was able to not only have that body, but have the athleticism and foot speed. He was the perfect NBA specimen. And Victor Wembanyama has the potential to be that as a prototypical modern NBA forward center. But it's going to take him a little more time than LeBron James. Defensively, I think Victor Wembanyama is going to be tremendous, right? I could see him averaging several blocks. I mean, the guy has like an 8-foot wingspan, something ridiculous like that. Like, come on, like that's legit an alien. And again, we can't look at this one game offensively and go, oh, he's trash, right? I mean, he was putting up 30 plus a game on professionals. And yes, it was in other leagues. And, he averaged 36 a game against the G League Ignite. So that is something like that has talent in it. And the next game that he plays, he might go 11 for 13 from the field. And everyone's going to be like, oh, there he is. Like, it's just the overreactions. I get that there's this hypeness to him. I get that there's this excitement, and people expect him to come into the league and be immediately a 40, 20, and 10 guy. But that's not the reality, right? And especially when you're talking about Summer League, right? Like, will he be great immediately in the NBA? Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if he's, 28 and 5 blocks with 5 assists. Maybe he's 28 and 5, right? I don't think that is completely unrealistic in the NBA, which would be really good and really successful for an NBA season, especially your rookie season. But he also might just be a 15, 5, 5, and 5 guy, right? And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You can't judge somebody and what they're going to be year one, game one, especially in a summer league game. Look, and I've said repeatedly on this channel that I do believe Victor Wembanyama, and I do understand the hype. I do think he has the potential to be a very good player and could potentially be the best player in the league in the next 3 years. But the expectations immediately are almost unrealistic. Like, again, 40, 20, 10, and 10 is what people seem to be expecting from Victor Wembanyama. And if he doesn't win the MVP as a rookie and lead the league in rebounds, assists, blocks, and points, then it was a failure of a season. Like, I just can't subscribe to that. And I know a lot of people are just trolling and just talking just to talk, but there are a lot of people that were credible as well that were just like, oh, he really disappointed. And again, he's playing in Summer League. The Spurs don't even want him to play in Summer League. They're only doing it to show face, and they probably were told by the NBA, like, hey, you got to play him, at least a couple games, right? Like, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, he plays next game and that's kind of it, right? Or he plays sparingly throughout the course of Summer League. If the Spurs didn't have to play him at all, the Spurs wouldn't play him at all, right? Like, that's San Antonio's sort of model, right? But on top of that, like, they don't want what happened to Scoot or Thompson to, like, happen to Victor. They want him to go out there, just kind of coast, don't do anything that's going to get you hurt, don't be overly aggressive. And you saw that. Again, if you actually watched the game, he just was kind of hovering around all game. He showed the intangible. He showed the defense, showed the passing ability, showed the ability to dribble and run the break and do a lot of the stuff that have people extremely hyped on him. But you can't expect him to go out there and try to show and kill and ball and, go drop 50 in a summer league game. It's just not realistic. It's not what the Spurs want him to do, for one. Is he capable of it? Possibly, probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he went full force, 100%, and they ran their offense through him, and they used him as the focal point, and the guy took 13 shots, right? Like, he's probably going to get 25 a game in the NBA, right? Like, there were other guys that took twice as many shots as him. So he was out there just for the fans. It was a sold-out crowd. They had to play him. They had to, give the people their money's worth. And that's all it is, right? Like, again, the next game, which is what I believe Sunday he plays, he could drop 20 and everyone will be hype on him again. He's definitely raw offensively. Like, that was always a thing. His three-point shooting isn't great. He's going to have to work on that. Like, it wasn't like he was this perfect, well-rounded guy. It's the potential. This is a set. We've never seen somebody 7'4" that dribbles like a point guard, has the ability to shoot from basically anywhere on the court, make plays and assist, as well as provide the level of defense that he gives you. Like, most guys that are like 7'5", stuff like that, are like clumsy and sort of awkward and just they don't really provide much offensively. They're just kind of a big body that's just there to like block shots. And, like guys like Boban, like, it's just, we've never really seen a guy that is 6'4" that can do all the things that he can do. I mean, you have guys like Kristaps Porzingis, right? Who's what? He's like 7'3", and he's a guy that can shoot the ball, post up, make plays, block shots. Like he's really good, right? But even he isn't as smooth as Victor. Like Porzingis can't just get the rebound, bring it up, cross up, like he's Magic Johnson at 7'4" and dish it out. Like we saw that in Summer League, right? Like that's a big difference, right? Like there are guys that are 7', 7'2", 7'3", that have been good over the course of their careers, but it's his unbelievable intangibles and upside is what makes him that hyped and that great. And if he lives up to even a quarter of what he is projected to produce, then he's going to be very talented. Did he have the best Summer League debut? Absolutely not. By no stretch of the imagination. Did he show a lot of what you should be excited for? Absolutely he did. And will he be better? Absolutely, I think he will. Right? It's also the first game. You have jitters, you have nerves, you have, just there's a lot that goes into it. I mean, we've seen lots of great players be terrible in Summer League. Like, even Giannis was not very good his first year, right? It took him a little while, right? KD was not very great in Summer League at times. Like, there's plenty of superstar level players that just didn't have good Summer Leagues or didn't have good first seasons or, several things. And now look, right? So you can't judge him on one game in Summer League. Would we have all liked him to come out and give us like a 20-10-10 game? Like, sure, that would have been awesome. But again, it's Summer League. They're not trying to kill him. Like, the Spurs don't care. He has nothing to prove yet, right? Once he gets to the actual NBA and we're playing NBA games, then it's like, all right, you got to put it out there. You got to show everyone what you're made of. But Summer League, it's for the fans, right? It's to see prospects that may or may not make the roster, get early looks for fans at rookies that, may play heavy, may play not at all, that's what it's about. It's the entertainment factor rather than the ability to win games. So anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Do you agree? Disagree? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love